Now, I'm standing in what I believe is the single most important election I've ever taken part in. We have big challenges, big opportunities ahead, but we need a strong government to lead us for the next 5 years. So my message to you is, no matter how you voted in the referendum, we need to give Theresa May the strongest possible hand to negotiate a deal in the interest of our entire country. Now, the risk in this election, of course, is that Jeremy Corbyn wins and oversees a shambolic coalition, but the more likely outcome is that Theresa May will be Prime Minister. And the question, therefore, is, do we want a strong Theresa May or do we want a weak Theresa May? A weak Theresa May with a small majority will not, in my view, be able to deliver the kind of decisions, the kind of negotiations that are in the interests of our community or indeed the entire country. We've already heard from the Liberal Democrats that their aspiration, their goal in this election is to grind the government's business to a standstill. That doesn't serve anyone's interest at all. So I'm standing in this election to help Theresa May achieve the majority she is going to need in these difficult times. And I'm also standing on my record for having delivered consistently for my community over the last 6 years, delivered locally and, I believe, delivered nationally. I hope on June the 8th you'll trust me with your vote.
Hello, my name is Sarah Olney and I'm the Liberal Democrat candidate for Richmond Park in the general election. I became the MP for Richmond Park in December when I won the by-election, and I've now had the enormous privilege of representing my local area in Parliament for the last 5 months. There are 3 big issues for me in this general election. The first, of course, is Brexit. Theresa May is determined to go to Brussels and negotiate the hardest possible Brexit for the UK. She wants to pull us out of the single market and drastically reduce immigration. I believe that this will have very damaging impact on our trade and on our ability to attract skilled workers to our UK industries. I want to see a strong team of Liberal Democrats in the Commons to provide opposition, challenge and scrutiny to Theresa May throughout the negotiations, as I believe we are the only party offering clear opposition on this issue. The second issue that is important to me in this election is public services funding, and in particular schools funding. There is a massive issue in this area. Every school in my constituency is facing a cut in funding of up to 8%. I have already used my opportunities in Parliament to oppose this and to stand up for schools in this area. I have recently been appointed the Liberal Democrats education spokesperson, and I will use that opportunity to speak out against funding cuts whenever I can. And the final issue that I will be fighting this election on is Heathrow expansion. The Conservatives have made it very clear in their manifesto that they plan to build a 3rd runway at Heathrow. Local people who feel strongly about this should vote for the Liberal Democrats to show their absolute opposition to further expansion at Heathrow and further increases in flights and further deterioration in air quality in this part of London. We are the only party that continues to oppose expansion at Heathrow. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Catherine Dunn. I'm the Labour Party candidate for Twickenham. I'm a local councillor in the neighbouring borough of Hounslow, where I'm Cabinet Member for Housing. I also work here in Twickenham at the National Physical Laboratory in Teddington, where I oversee European research projects. And I'm a small business owner. My partner's a chef and we run a small restaurant together. I'm running to be the MP for Twickenham because I want future generations to enjoy this wonderful part of the country. Just look how beautiful it is here today. The challenge here is to preserve all the best things about Twickenham whilst also investing in the local area, in local businesses to make sure that we have a thriving economy, in schools to make sure that these are funded properly and are there for the benefit of all our children, and in housing to make sure that our young people can continue to live in this area and that new people will want to move here and live here and work here. Whether we have a Labour government or whether we have a Conservative government, I will stand up for the issues that matter for you. That's investment in our local schools to make sure that they're the best quality, investment in housing to make sure that people can afford a home, and preserving the environment so that we can all continue to enjoy it.
My name is Vince Cable. I'm hoping to return again as the Member of Parliament for Twickenham, winning back the seat that I lost 2 years ago. And one of my motives is to be able to work with the local business community, with whom I had an excellent relationship with the Chamber and individual companies. We're very fortunate in this area. We have a very dynamic, innovative, entrepreneurial culture, a lot of startups, a lot of high-tech companies, a lot of wealth creation. And I want to work with them on the practical problems that I dealt with in government when I was business secretary, making sure there's proper access to credit after I established the British Business Bank, helping with a lot of the problems that are now arising as a result of the apprenticeship levy, helping with export promotion. I think one of the big challenges a lot of businesses are going to have is dealing with a hard Brexit, creating large-scale uncertainty, difficulties of getting access to skilled people, problems about markets in future. But these are practical problems, and I would want to deal with them on that basis rather than on an ideological level. So I look forward very much to being the MP again and engaging with the local business community.
It's great to be at the Crown, St Margaret's, and this is Richmond Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to Anne Newton for organising this. And as ever, I'm very keen to meet all the businessmen, and this time I've also brought the Minister from Prime Minister's Policy Board, and I'm hoping everybody here is going to be saying what I've been saying. We've got some of the top small businesses here. We've got some of the top science and technology business people here as well. I've already brought some of our business people to the Palace of Westminster to meet ministers, to tell them what we need during the negotiations to come. And I'm going to hand over to the Minister, George Freeman.
Look, it's a great pleasure to be here today. In Tanya, you have a dogged advocate on small and large business, and she's already raised with me a whole series of issues to do with the big employers here, obviously Laboratory of the Government Chemist at Twickenham, but also all the small businesses here. And we've been out this morning talking to businesses about business rates, about parking, about the bread and butter issues that keep the high street alive. This constituency is made up, as you've explained clearly, by a series of neighbourhoods and small businesses. And we've talked also about the need to get a Brexit deal that works for business. As the Prime Minister said, we do not intend to have a Brexit that punishes our competitiveness or damages business. We need to get it right. And Tanya is a very strong voice. As a former business minister, I've worked with Vince Cable. I know you've got in Tanya a real advocate of the business interests of this constituency.
Well, what I can say is I'm not afraid of telling you what we need, and I'm not afraid of telling the Prime Minister what we need. If I'm re-elected, you know what I'm going to be saying regularly in the Commons.